Thank you, ma'am.
Your optional subject is anthropology.
Yes.
Okay. So tell us something about the sixth schedule of Indian Constitution.
Ma'am, the sixth schedule applies to four of the northeastern states, that is Assam, Tripura, Meghalaya, Mizoram, due to the presence of the tribals in those areas and other ethnicity-related identity issues in those areas, which also gives provision regarding the tribal autonomous district councils in order to safeguard their identity and in order to give them the political voice in the state.
Why two different types of provisions, like for rest of India fifth schedule and for Northeast sixth schedule? So what could have been the consideration in the Constitution?
And then the constitution basically lies on the fact that the tribals of both the region are different. For example, in case of Northeast, the tribal mainly faces the issue of identity and ethnicity. So in those areas, the tribals are not connected with the mainstream population of India. But in the case of the mainland India, the main concerns are with respect to displacement of tribals and the alienation from the land.
Okay, tell me how to distinguish between a tribe and a caste.
Ma'am, although in the current situation we are seeing a continuum sort of thing, but still, in order to differentiate the tribe and the caste, there are some parameters that the local commission has given with respect to tribes. Like a tribe is the group of population having stagnant or dwindling population. They have a sort of sinus, and also they are having subsistence-based agriculture, and and they have some primitive traits as well. But in the case of caste, we generally talk about the four Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra, four castes,
Four varnas.
four varnas that later translated.
What's the difference in varna and caste?
Ma'am, so varna is more of occupational in nature, but the caste eventually got the ascribed nature.
Okay. Now, can you just tell me what is this concept of Asian values? Have you heard about it?
So I will not have it.
Okay, is there a cultural relativist perspective in anthropology?
Yes, ma'am. That was propounded by the Franz Boas. He talks about the cultural relativism approach in contrast to the ethnocentric approach. So, ma'am, that's basically talks about that whenever you are seeing any other culture, we must not try to see it from our own lenses. So, we must put ourselves in those other cultures' shoes, and then we must see that culture.
Okay. So, cultural relativism, is it anywhere reflected in our constitution?
Ma'am, may I take a moment? Ma'am, given the fact that our constitution tries to have a sort of unity of the diversity, so that is the major thing that I can think of cultural relativism, because it accommodates different religion, different language groups.
Even sixth schedule is
Yes, ma'am, sixth schedule and fifth schedule will also be an example.
can be a part of. So, do you think that as far as Operation Sindoor is concerned, India has lost the war of narratives?
Ma'am, during the initial 3-4 days,
You understand war of narratives?
yes, ma'am, that is basically an information misinformation campaign or information campaign that both the countries were fighting. So we observed that in the initial phase of 3-4 days, Pakistan dominated the information narrative. But eventually, when India got to see this picture, then it also tried to monitor all the social media handles. And after that, we also sent the diplomatic groups to other countries.
Who won that war? Was there a war?
Like we can tell it to be a part of the non-kinetic warfare measures that currently the world is witnessing. And in order to see who won, it is very difficult because India tried its best, but still there were missed responses from both the sides.
Missed responses from both the sides, from India's side also. Made it certain mistakes.
Another mistake was that India was not so proactive in this warfare strategy. Only after Pakistan did this thing, we were reactive in approach. So maybe this can be a very good lesson for India. And next time we are much more prepared with respect to the social media and information campaigns that are.
Acha, you were talking about social media specifically. So who took the diplomatic advantage of the entire Operation Sindhu? Who? Which country? Pakistan or India? Diplomatic advantage.
Now I think there is a third country who took the diplomatic advantage. That was the USC, because it projected that it was something that mediated the ceasefire, which was rejected.
India never accepted that.
That was rejected by our foreign leaders.
But who got in return the military aid, support, new projects, economic bounty?
Which is Pakistan. For the support of USA and major support from this.
What diplomatic victories we had in this context? Did India gain any?
Ma'am, India gained on two fronts, I can tell. Firstly, that India was able to show the world that Pakistan is giving surveillance to the terrorist activities. And secondly, just after the Operation Sindhu, we saw the rise of military in Pakistan, which India from very earlier times was telling, but that the why was not accepted. So through the
Everybody knows Pakistan is an epicenter of terrorism. Everybody knows. It's an open secret. It's only not recognized by US formally, but it's an open secret thing. So how do you look at India's recent initiatives on engaging with Taliban? Are we moving somewhere on a very dangerous note?
Ma'am, currently India is trying to engage with the government of the Afghanistan, not Taliban per se. And that is visually due to the reasons that India has invested a lot in Afghanistan. So it is.
So who is in the government of Afghanistan?
Yes, so currently Taliban is the government, but India has never said that it is engaging with Taliban, but with the government of Afghanistan. And it would.
How does that matter? It's the same thing.
Yes, ma'am. So that's why, ma'am, India has always told that the government should be by the people and for the people in Afghanistan. And ma'am, because the concerns of.
Great, tell me, what is the biggest mistake India has committed so far in Bangladesh?
Ma'am, I think the intelligence failure before the overturning of government in Bangladesh is something that India failed.
So we fail again and again and again. And same can be said about Pahalgam attack also.
Ma'am, in case of that can be said in Pahalgam attack, but we must not forget that there were much more incidents that in the security forces were able to avoid.
I'm not asking that. Was it an intelligence failure? Pahalgam terror attack. Will you call it an intelligence failure or something else?
Now, from my limited knowledge, I can see it will be a multiple reasons to drive India apart from it itself.
So what can be these reasons?
Ma'am, firstly, like there were lapses in the security the border areas as well, so that around the entry of the terrorists. And secondly, also that the army was not present in that location itself, in spite of having such a high tourist footfall. So that these are two lapses that I can think of.
Okay. Yes.
So, okay, Shubham. Uh, just wanted to check out. So, you are working in railways
Sir,
and you also got selected in customs.
yes, as a last year, I was allocated Indian Railway Management Service, and last year I got a Indian Revenue Service, Customs and Direct Taxes.
So, you have joined customs excise service.
So last week I went there and I joined the service and I took the external.
Okay, okay. So, you already appeared in interview twice.
Yes, sir, I appeared for interview in the 3 times.
Already three. So, this will be fourth time.
Yes.
Okay, so you are well experienced. Okay, you tell me. Since you are working in railways, have you heard about this concept of separation of content and carriage?
So I had heard about the separation of freight and passenger. I'm not exactly remembering the separation of content and carriage.
Like, okay, so this is wherever you have these lines or say gas pipeline or so in that context it is used. separation of content and carriage, and something to do with privatization and bringing about competition in the sector. Now, can you think of what could be this content of separation of content and carriage? So this is to bring about the competition.
And so with respect to bringing competition, I can see that India these days are allowing the private players as well. Like the IRCTC has been given the power to run the Tejas Express. And so, but with respect to contents, I am not able to.
Okay, I'll give you a hint. So as to so it is basically uh, the carriage, like the tracks can be owned by a different company, and then based on the competition or whosoever is giving the best service, the people can be allowed to run their carriages. So this is the basic concept of content and carriage. So this is their, say, the gas pipeline which is run by GAIL. So anyone can you know send their gas through that pipeline. Similarly, in electricity grid is there, so anyone can send. So some thinking is there in railways on these lines to bring about efficiency.
Yes, so I can recall that there was one policy brought in because currently the tracks are aging, and at the same time the laying of tracks require huge capital. So the government is planning to lay the tracks and then invite the private players to run the train from those. At the same time, for some of the tracks, it is also asking for PPP model. So that the capital investment will be reduced for those tracks. And sir, I think that will be a very good motivating factor for the private sector to enter the Indian Railways.
So earlier, you see, we used to have a separate railway budget. Then at one point, now we have a common budget. Railway budget is also merged with the main budget. Do you think it has been the right policy, or we should still have a separate railway budget?
So earlier it was told that it was a very superficial distinction. So that was being curved, and that the both budgets were merged because the major reason is that we are in the future moving towards the multimodal transport. So at in those situations, we need integration between the railways, the roadways, and the airways. So in order to have a streamlined structure in place, we have merged both the budgets.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. So coming about GST, so since you are going to join, so we recently had this GST 2 reforms.
Yes.
So what was the major reforms carried out in that?
So the major reform was with respect to the tax slab rationalization. Because sir, earlier GST used to face the issue of categorization. So it was very difficult for the soft sellers to identify in which bracket the commodity may lie. So sir, that was reduced to currently 3 slabs. And apart from this sir, we are also trying to include or integrate the fiscal assessment system in case of GST. So these are the two major reforms that has been brought in and is projected at.
And the railways also have recently come up with the new tariffs they have announced 2 3 days back. New tariffs have got implemented, na railway fares.
Sorry, sir, I'm not aware about this news. I will read.
Achha, do not. So what do you understand by telescopic fares in railways?
So telescopic fares refers to whenever the length of the distance increases, and the fare reduces. But whenever we are going for shorter distance, the fare increases. So that refers to the telescopic fare.
Yeah. So I mean, the better way to express it is that, I mean, as we increase the distance, the fare increase is not proportionate. I mean, it is less than that. Okay. So you are otherwise, gold medalist in mining engineering from IIT BHU, and you are already to custom the next excise service. So tell me, like, India has launched this rare earth mission. So what is the lead and why it has been launched and what are its main features?
So India has launched the critical minerals mission, basically due to the importance of these minerals in the economy of the country. And
So
second,
what are these minerals like?
so India has recognized 20 minerals in this list, and the minerals of cobalt, lithium, beryllium. So it's because sir, these are very vulnerable supply chain, and at the same time, it is very important for the economy. For example, electronics, semiconductors. These minerals are very important.
Hmm. Okay. So so some areas also have been identified for mining.
Yes, sir. Like, sir, currently we have discovered the lithium reserves in Jammu and Kashmir, uh, Liasi district, I can recall. And sir, there has been report that we are trying to procure the technology from the lithium tracking countries. Like, for example, sir, we signed an agreement with Cayman as well to mine out that deposit of lithium.
Mhm. So in the mining context, what do you understand by overburden removal?
As a overburden removal refers to the uh, stone or the material which lie above the coal seam or the mineral deposit. So whenever we are doing the open pit mining, we remove the overburden and we keep it in a overburden tub, and then we extract the mineral.
Okay, my last question. So you are from Jharkhand. So you know it has got separated from Bihar. A new state has been constituted. So what is your opinion? Like it has been a good decision, or I mean, still the things are same in Jharkhand.
So I think it was a good decision because earlier the tribals of the Jharkhand were not having political representation. But currently we can see, sir, there is 26% relocation for the scheduled tribes. And apart from that, sir, we have also seen improvement in the social indicators as well. For example, sir, infant mortality rates are decreased to 27, and there has been reduction in poverty rates as well. But at the same time, sir, the state of Jharkhand, due to the political instability and insurgency, is facing inequality. So government is trying its best to curb these issues. And for example, sir, we were able to curb the issue of nationalism in the east.
Nice.
So, Dhanbad, coal mafia city. That is the narrative that is given in uh, national media, not so much as state media. What should the rest of India know about Dhanbad apart from coal? What do you think are any three interesting features?
Am I meant to?
Please do.
Ma'am, the first I can think of is the industrial expanse of the area because we can talk about industrial tourism in the area for the other states. Secondly, the biodiversity of the region is also quite diverse, and thirdly, there are other development projects as well. For example, the Maitan Dam is nearby, so it also gives us aspects of renewable energy in terms of hydroelectricity.
These are very important points that you've just mentioned. In narrative building regarding a particular state, apart from what the most populist angle is, these are key critical factors for many of us outside of your stage. These are things we wouldn't know. Anthropology, the leap from mining engineering to anthropology. Why?
Ma'am, when I was looking at the syllabus of UPSC, firstly, I couldn't find my optional, my subject as an option. And secondly, based on my interest, I figured out two, three subjects. And ultimately, based on my interest and based on the results of those years, I chose anthropology.
Okay, fair enough. Good answer. आपको transition कैसा लगा? Anthropology is so widely opposite to what engineering is. Or would you call it a social engineering topic?
One, I think the transition was smooth in the case because there were because the subject offered me a sort of diversity. Because we talk about tribals, we talk about the caste system, we talk about Indian religious, the people do, and in the same time, people want to talk about different thought processes and different schools of thought. So it was not a complete transition because it was not a complete sociological subject as such. So it helped me to transition from mining and anthropology. At the same time, ma'am, the issue of tribals was common in both the subjects because tribals are some mining regions that are affected by tribals. So I became more mature to understand their problems by studying anthropology.
What is a safety hunt in IIT Kharagpur in which you've got first position?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I participated in the event on the safety hunt in IIT Kharagpur, and my team won the first prize in that.
What is a safety hunt? For somebody who doesn't know, how would you describe it?
but it was an event in which teams were made and each of the teams were sent in a model mine. And we were supposed to find out the safety lapses that were present in the mine. And at the same time, in a very short period of time, we were supposed to give the solutions to those. Unfortunately,
What was the solution that you gave that got you the first position?
ma'am, for example, there were 3 4 safety lapses. For example, for the ventilation was not proper, and there the fan which was there nearby the fan there was a gas cylinder kept. And secondly, there were hurdles in the railway track leaning the mine. So these were the two I can record, and I gave the solution for these.
You mentioned you've already joined your revenue responsibilities, your revenue and customs position.
When last week I went to the academy and I joined the Indian Revenue Service Custom and Trade Taxes, and I do the externally.
That's a fairly powerful and wide-reaching service. Why are you still adamant on an IAS position?
Ma'am,
I would have as much power, if not more, perhaps even more.
ma'am, I don't think I'm someone who is aspiring for power because I started this journey with the dream of IS in mind. Because the kind of diversity and the challenges that it offers at such an initial phase, that's somewhat attractive. And I also wanted to be connected to the ground level and contribute to the welfare of the people around me. So even like before the next stint, also I talked to my parents as well because they are someone who are taking care of my finances. So my mother told me that कि अपने सपने को कस के पकड़े रहो. So just I am following her advice and my passion as well to continue this process.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much and all the very best.
Thank you, ma'am.